Hi, this is Prog Will Find a Way, a progcast on all things progressive music. I'm Jonathan Block.
I'm Jay Valade. Today we're joined by Last Plane out of Sweden. And why don't you guys introduce yourselves?
Lead singer first.
Okay. Yes. My name is Nils Erikson, and I'm the lead singer musical composer of Last Plane Out. We met many years ago when Anders was writing sort of biography for my first solo album, and then we started to work together, and here we are.
Wow.
Yes, and I'm Anders Lundquist, and I've been a music journalist since 1980, and I've played in bands since 1979. So it's been parallel lines throughout my adult life, if one can call me an adult.
Okay.
Well, you guys have a new album coming out, I believe, March 27th, although we've been lucky enough to listen to it on streaming. It's available on streaming. You guys,
Very enjoyable.
Yeah, very excellent, excellent album. You guys call yourselves like prog pop, art prog, and definitely hear some echoes of other things, but there's a lot of originality in there as well. Just wondering if you want to take a few minutes and talk about the new release coming up and any comments around it, if there's a theme and what your motivation was.
Yeah, well, the album is called Cautionary Tales, and whereas our first album was like a year ago, 1.5 years ago. No, we have many years to finish that one, but this second album, the follow up, was made in like a year. So and the second album, we had all these expectations. The first album, no one really knew about us. They knew about Anders and they knew about me, but not about the band. But now everyone does, and so it was a bit of a challenge to make this follow-up album. But I think we made it. I think we did.
Yeah. It's interesting because when we made the first album, we didn't know we were making an album. We just wrote songs, and Nils recorded them, and we listened to them, and we played them to friends, and they said, "This is really good. Why don't you release it?" And we felt if we're about to release it, we should do it all in, go all in, and do a vinyl, not just drop it on Spotify and people forget it after
it disappear.
5 days. Yeah. So we wanted to go all in or not at all. And then we met this crazy record company guy who was prepared to pay for the pressings and the cover. So all we had to do was just try to promote it. And the interest was big abroad, but not as big in Sweden. I mean, media-wise.
What happened?
Well, it's the same for everyone,
Profit is not without honor, kind of thing.
Exactly.
Well, you're getting good press on this. We see.
Yeah, we
have the
read
latest Prog magazine, and
you got a great review.
Yeah, excellent review. It's great that it's getting a lot of definitely more exposure.
So as far as promotion goes, do you guys tour at all, or is it just a studio project at this point?
So far it's been a studio project, but we really, we do have the ambition to go on a tour,
or at least start playing live.
Yeah, at least.
Yeah,
because right now it is kind of a studio project.
It is.
Do you have, because you don't really have a band per se, right? It's the two of you with a couple of guests once in a while.
We will have a band.
Excellent.
Yeah. I actually spoke to a person yesterday who is really, really up for being the second keyboard player to free Nils up to sing and maybe play some of the more basic keyboard parts. So we'll see.
Yeah, and we have a few good drummers coming up as well. So you need a good drummer, and that's the basis for a good band, I think.
Yeah. Awesome.
And Anders, you gonna play bass or guitar or both?
Probably switch between bass and guitar depending on what the song needs.
So you need a Daryl Sturmer? Is that what you need?
Yeah, or a Mike Rutherford.
Yeah.
Actually, I am a bit of a Mike Rutherford because I tend to switch. I write songs on guitar, but I've mostly played bass in different bands, and now I'm trying to do both.
So when we've done our podcast before, we've been talking. We're always talking about where your prog leanings and prog will find a way. So how did you guys start out in your prog world? Did you always like prog, or were you more? Because I know your last playing out is from the Toy Matinee the world, which
Yeah.
I've loved that album since it came out. But I don't.
Well,
I think
yeah.
that's more that pop prog kind of, a more accessible sort of thing, which I think is the road you're trying to go down.
I've always been the pop guy. I had bands since I was like 15 years old, and I actually did have a band called Under the Sun, and we participated in this global competition called Band Explosion. So we were fortunate enough to win in Sweden. So we represented Sweden and the Scandinavia basically, and so we went to Japan with a band to be in the World Championship of Rock. Um, and the United States contestant was Giraffe,
Oh,
led by none less than Kevin Gilbert.
wow.
So I met him over there during the preparations for the competition, and I was a bit under the weather, and so was he. So everyone else was out bungee jumping and having banquets, dinners with the Michael Jackson band, not Michael Jackson himself, but his I think his tour manager was there, and it was kind of high level of musicians, and so I had some nice conversations with Kevin Gilbert back then. This was in 1989 in Tokyo.
And
So,
what's funny is that one of the jury members was a guy called Pat Leonard, who had produced
Oh,
Madonna
right.
and wrote songs with her. And he was offered by the record company to have a vanity project just because he wrote so many hits with Madonna.
Yeah.
Which led to him asking Kevin Gilbert, "Do you want to form a band with me?" And that became Toy Matinee.
Got it.
Wow.
And I actually worked for Swedish National Radio back in 1990 and played Toy Matinee a lot on the air for a million listeners. So we kind of went parallel lines even back then, Nils and I, long before we
That's
knew
fun.
of each other. And actually, I was such a fan of Kevin Gilbert's first album, which came out in '96, that
What?
I bought it in Boston on an interview trip, and I actually called my then wife to tell her I had a new musical idol, forgetting that the time difference meant that it was 4 a.m.
Yes.
in Sweden. So she was not too happy about that. Yeah.
I'd actually like to ask a question about the prog scene in Sweden, if you could talk, particularly Anders, because you've been part of that really since, I think in the bio you talk about really since the early 80s, and certainly in the 90s there was a huge renaissance and number of popular bands. From our American point of view, we didn't think of Sweden as a hotbed of prog, and and then in the 90s these bands start coming out, and
Yeah.
the independent stores around here start carrying it, and we're hearing this stuff for the first time. That would have been 93, 92. So I'm wondering, and I know that our subscribers want to understand this too. Was there a bubbling up? I mean, obviously, there's some famous live shows like Pink Floyd did in Sweden in the early 70s. And so it's not like Prague was never in Sweden, but the bands themselves, it really wasn't until that early 90s, 92, 93, that they started bubbling up over here in America. I'm just curious if it was something that just popped here, or was there
Always a scene.
was there a movement there that was like, okay, bands were working together and with folks like you to kind of get the name out there, get the names out there, because the music is amazing. It had nothing to do with the music itself, right?
Yeah, it's interesting because Nils was part of some of those bands, like Karmakanic,
Yeah.
actually as a musician, and I was more of a journalist slash fan. So I know all of these bands personally, like Anekdoten, the Flower Kings, Kaipa, well, all of them, more or less. Moon Safari, the list goes on.
Yes.
But I think Nils could tell you about actually playing with those musicians.
Yeah, I think I had this solo career going on, and then there was Jonas Reingold of Karmakanic, and he heard some of the songs, and he just called me and wanted me to join his band, Karmakanic. And I mean, who could say no to that? So I was like the co-singer alongside Göran Edman. And I was also the co-keyboardist alongside Lalle Larsson. So I was like a complementary band member. We had it. We went on a tour in the States and in Europe, and it was a great time. I did learn a lot about Prague.
And Lalle recently joined Steve Hackett's band together, where Jonas is already a member.
Right.
Wow. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh, that's cool. We saw Steve Hackett here in town.
Yeah, he played in our
show.
town at our local venue a number of years. Well, 4 years ago.
Probably 4 years ago.
Yeah, amazing show. Amazing show.
Yeah. To answer your question about prog in Sweden,
Yeah.
I think the main prog bands in the 70s were big everywhere. Genesis, Yes, King Crimson, all of those guys. So they always came to Sweden, and we got to see them. Some of the older guys got to see the classic Genesis lineup. I did not. But I think it was like between an underground movement and a mainstream thing. People who knew about music knew those bands, but media didn't really cover them because it was not considered cool enough. You know the story? It was all about
That's why,
the Clash.
why we think Prague will find a way.
Exactly.
We grew up in that environment too.
Yeah. So I think all the newer bands, like when I say new, I mean 90s bands.
Yeah.
They grew up on Genesis and Yes and Crimson and all that. And when they became good enough, it became bands like the ones we mentioned.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So Art, is Prague more mainstream in Sweden, or is it still on the underground?
It's not mainstream.
Okay.
There is practically no media coverage on prog rock here. This is no. It's not that big here. It's not. Actually.
I guess that plays into what you said at the beginning, right? Where you're getting a lot of great press all over the world,
but not
necessarily at home.
We've had one review of our new album in Sweden, and it's been out since November on streaming. I mean, one Swedish review, and it wasn't even that positive.
That was
but since Britain and the US and Canada and France and Netherlands seem to like us,
right.
We don't care that much. We can leave Sweden behind, right, Nils?
Yes.
Well, I mean, that's kind of
the time being.
Yeah, that's definitely a theme. I mean, I think of like Van de Graaff Generator. They weren't popular in England. They were really popular in Italy, things like that.
Genesis too.
As long as there's an audience.
Genesis too, those early Charisma bands. As long as there's an audience, you just have to go with it.
Yeah.
Well, maybe once you get a band, you can get onto the cruise to the edge, if you don't mind sailing, and then that's it.
I'd love to go. Yeah. You interviewed a good friend of mine recently, Adam Elk of the Mommy Heads.
Yeah,
Sure
Do you
did.
know if he got to go on the cruise or not?
I don't.
I don't. The cruise is coming up, but
March, May.
I think it's coming up in a couple weeks. But
okay.
I don't know if he was going to go or not.
I've not seen his name or
Yeah.
yeah. Although
So how did you end up meeting Adam?
I was one of the guys in Sweden who made them reform because I was a fan of the last album they did before they broke up, the self-titled one that came out in '97, I think.
Okay.
And I played it a lot, as a DJ and stuff. And I missed the band, and then I met this crazy guy called Bert von Bolton, who's kind of a profile here in Stockholm. He also plays in bands and stuff, and we decided to really be on Adam's case about reforming the Mommy Heads. So we started just calling him and saying, "You have a following in Sweden. You should come back."
So how do they have a following in Sweden? Just because of you playing them on the radio?
Partly, but not on the radio, but different
Okay.
venues as a
Right.
DJ and stuff.
Okay.
But they discovered that the following was not that big, but very devoted.
Okay.
So they started coming here every year, staying at my place and touring Scandinavia, and it's kind of a second home for them.
Yeah.
And my previous bands, the Future Elephants, or actually Future Elephants, we played with them on their latest Swedish tour.
Oh wow, okay.
That's fun.
Yeah, well,
Yeah.
hopefully you guys can do a joint tour then.
Yeah, now we gotta go last play now doing it too.
He wants us to play with the Mommy Heads, and Adam is a very convincing guy. So
He is.
Yes, he is.
he texts me once a week saying, "Get it together, man."
Now, Nils, do you know Adam, or do you?
No, I don't.
Okay.
But they're also falling in between in a way. They're like a prog pop band.
Yes, absolutely. Well, it was funny because when we were talking to him, I was thinking the Toy Matinee Jellyfish kind of zone of things which we talked to him about, which is how I think we met you. But Toy Matinee has been one of my favorites since that album came out.
And Jellyfish was probably the second most played band when I worked for the radio station.
Wow.
Because their first album came out in 1990 as well. And the first time I heard the Mommy Heads, I thought of Jellyfish.
Yeah.
And they were friends.
Me too.
So, yeah. So that's also where Nils and I kind of connect, because we're both lovers of great pop music, like concise 4-minute songs, not just 20-minute epics. In fact, that's not what we do. So
right, absolutely.
And are you because when you look at it on paper, it's an interesting combination, right? The lead singer isn't writing the lyrics, he's writing the music. And then are you guys do you come together and say, okay, this is going to be the project and now let's get into writing mode, or is there a constant writing and kind of sharing music and seeing what sticks kind of situation?
I generally write a song with just some nonsense lyrics like Raska Maska Merd, and then I just send it over as a pre-production, or pretty much to Anders, and then he just finished the lyrics, and maybe I have some title or idea about the song, and I just leave it to him, and it works out.
Yeah, we live in different cities, so we rarely get to meet in person. So Nils sends me music, and sometimes I send him lyrics, like the Bernie Taupin Elton John thing, where he puts music to finished lyrics, which not all composers can do. Many people find it really different to put music to words, but I like to believe that my lyrics kind of have that musicality to them that brings out
They do.
So do you
Not to blow my own trumpet, but
when you get the sketch that's got kind of the nonsensical words, do you then fit the lyric to the cadence of that, or do you play around with it?
no, I try to copy the what do you call it?
Phrasing.
The
Phrasing.
the phrasing, yeah,
Right.
100%. I
Okay.
try to find
Right.
words that sound exactly like he sings the nonsense words, um, and uh, and try to make sense of I mean, Nils is an expert of sounding convincing and really emotional when he sings the nonsense words. So it's like
Puts
it's
the
a
pressure
challenge
on.
to come up with words that are as emotional as he's singing, because it sounds very like this is a matter of life and death.
Puts
And then I'm like, oh,
Now I have
this
to
is
put some heavy thought to this.
yeah. And actually, the first song we co-wrote was the last song on our debut album called "Leave a Light On," which
Right.
is kind of about
That's a
visiting
heavy
a
song.
person who's dying.
Yeah.
And he sent me that song, and I was like, "This sounds serious. I have to come up with something really, tear jerking." So I sat on a park bench in Hyde Park listening to the song, and I actually got goosebumps reading those lyrics to hearing his voice, because I knew that it would be emotional. So that was the first song, and it did work.
Excellent song.
And thank you. And it was 25 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah. So, like you said at the beginning of the of our talk here, you had 25 years to do the first album.
Yeah.
And now you had a year and a half to do the second album. Did
Yeah.
you find that was more challenging, or just that once you found your rhythm, it works now?
It kind of works now. As I said, it's more like the expectations of others. Like, if you have 25 years and no one really knows that you're making songs together, and now for the second album, everyone says, and now what? So that was different, and also I think this, I want to call it pressure, but like some pushing things would also make you focus better. So I think we had a flow, and we still do. We're working on the third album now.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, I wanted
there
to,
we go.
yeah, I was going to say that. I will say one of the things I liked about the new album, like it has a mood and a vibe to it, even though I know it's separate songs. And one of the things I noticed, I think like the third or fourth time I was listening, it takes a while overtly on the album for you to really notice guitar. So I don't know if that was if when you're putting the album together, it's intentional. It's very majestic at the beginning in keyboard, and I remember the second I'm like I'm sure there's guitar there. I got to listen more closely. And then later on the guitar comes in more. There's guitar solos. So I wonder, do you think about the arc of the whole album? Is it just a collection of songs, or do you kind of do that process at the end when everything's set and you think the order of the songs are going to be, or does that just naturally, organically come as you're putting it together, writing the songs and recording them?
We make more songs than can actually fit the album. So there is a sort of selection process at the end. We pick the best ones and try to find the right order for them. I know Anders likes to play the guitar more, so that's a
You don't
request.
want that. We'll see. I only play on about half the songs on the new album, and I didn't play anything on the first one, so it's gradual. But it's because a lot of the songs on the first one were like really professional demos, and I didn't want to ruin them. But I plan to play more if I may, and I'm actually starting to practice more as well. because I play bass in bands usually. So, but I feel that I'm getting there now.
It's noticeable that the instrumentation and the arrangements are in service of the song. So you succeeded there if you were intending to do that. That's for sure.
It's not about shredding.
Right.
Right.
Textures. Although you do say there's a couple solos here and there. It's makes them. It's almost to me. It's not the playing or the sounds. The echoes of Steve Hackett, right? Because a lot of times Steve is just adding atmosphere and parts to the soundscape, and then when the actual what people think of as a guitar sound comes through, it's all that more powerful. I get that same kind of emotional uh, realization with your guys' music as well. Because everybody, a lot of times, it's just throwing everything out right in the beginning, right? And like, we're here, this is who we are, and then they might kind of go down. But there's a slow build of instrumentations that's really neat.
And I like that there's a varied sound on the album too. There's lots of styles coming in and out. It's
I think the new one is more varied than the first one. It kind of, it's more ebb and flow and maybe less prog even, but I don't know. For the first one, we just chose songs. We never talked about what kind of songs to write. This time we actually discussed it a bit more. What's missing? What's the, we need a last song. We need maybe an up-tempo song, stuff like that.
So how does that work for you, Nils, when you're doing that? You just kind of come up with something that that's going to fit that bill?
Sometimes, yes. I mean, I write like music every day.
Okay.
For this project, for other projects, for my solo stuff. So there's always music going on here. So it's not like I'm going in and out of writing periods. I'm always always there. So sometimes I think, this song would really fit Left by Now. So that's more the way it works. But sometimes Anders has a very specific request. Like there's this song called "Step Out Tonight." It was like a request from Anders, wasn't
it? But he already had it in the can.
Yeah, lucky for you.
Can you write a AOR type song with a piano, just for fun? And he said, I already have one of those.
Does it ever work backwards that you have a lyric that you've written that you're wanting to apply to a song that you
actually sent Nils a new lyric 2 days ago. No comment from him so far. But that's the way we work. Sometimes we send each other stuff, and if nobody reacts, we just move on.
Right. Sometimes no answer is the answer.
Exactly, because we have enough good stuff anyway. So, if I may say so.
So, are you thinking about the third album already? Or you have any plans? 2 years from now, 1 year from now, or it's still in the gestation period?
I think Nils has a lot of songs ready.
Yes, I'm accumulating songs right now. I have not sent one of them so far to Anders, so he's really his patience is no, but yes, maybe, I don't know, a year from now, perhaps.
Yeah. Well, also, how much can we reveal about our thought about?
Nothing. I think nothing.
Okay.
Nothing.
All under wraps.
But you've built up enough interest here now that people are going to pay attention for the next year.
Hopefully. Let's just say that we have ideas about, going in certain directions.
Yeah.
But it's still going to sound like us because Nils has a very characteristic voice. And those piano arpeggios, that's probably the most musically impressive part of our music, I think, that Tony Banksy kind of flow in the piano playing.
Very majestic. Excellent.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Any well, when you guys have more the next project, we definitely love to have you back on. Any other thoughts you'd like to leave us with?
Nils?
Well, I don't know.
We appreciate the time, and
Yeah,
for
this
those
is great.
folks who haven't checked it out yet, I mean, all the fans are Prog fans, so they would definitely have come across the name.
Yeah.
We highly recommend the new album.
Yeah, it's very good.
Really, really good.
Thank you.
Amazing.
I think we're going to put together a live band pretty soon. And actually, are you familiar with the band Moon Safari?
Yes.
Their former drummer contacted me and said, if you ever play live, I'm your man. So it may happen.
Excellent.
This is
We'll see.
a European tour, most likely,
Tour is
or the shows.
The series of shows
You're
in
not
different
coming.
locations.
You're not coming to America. Is basically
I put it like Phil Collins, a selection of shows.
Yeah,
there you go.
And it turned out to be 40.
in very exclusive select cities.
Yeah. But if we find the right act to tour with or open for, we're absolutely up for doing it because we don't have proper jobs anyway.
Yeah. Well, you got to walk before you can run too.
There
You
you
can't just jump right in and see how it goes.
So it will happen, and we can also probably play in different configurations, like bigger settings, or maybe just piano, guitar, and saxophone or something. I don't know. We haven't discussed it, but that's what I'm thinking.
Yep.
Excellent.
You heard it here first, Nils.
Yeah.
Also, one last thing. I mean, we're really grateful about the interest from the US and Canada. And actually, we have a promotion guy in Quebec who contacted us and said, I would like to promote your music for free because I'm such a fan. And we were like, we like that, the sound of that. And he thinks that we should come to Canada and do some promotion and showcases. And we're discussing it. So
great.
Excellent. Well, you heard it.
Because it's a bit very
near
That'd be fun.
Keep an eye out for that.
I've only been. We went. My wife and I went up to the Marillion weekend up in Montreal, but that's the extent of my Canada concert going experience. But you never know.
Yeah, and also we're probably, if we go to the US, we'll probably end up with the Mommy Heads because
that would be fun.
They're very good at booking gigs, and they want us to play with them in Scandinavia. So
perfect,
excellent. Well,
September.
Okay. Well, we'll keep up with you and Adam, and be sure to let folks know of
any tour
like that.
All right,
the Prog Pop tour.
That's right.
Well, again, we really, really appreciate you guys taking the time
for coming on,
talking to us about not just the music, but your thought process and everything. We really appreciate it.
This is awesome. Thanks.
It's been fun. Thanks so much.
Thank you.
Prog will find a way.
It certainly does. Over the Atlantic Ocean.
Everywhere.
Yeah, and you're always welcome to come to Sweden and hang out with all those Swedish prog nerds and bands.
We may very well take you
never know.
On that, so.
Yeah, I would be really happy to see you here.
All right.
Thank you.
Thanks so much, guys.
Take care, guys.